everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Becca and today is the start of the weekend. Almost. It is Friday morning. I have work in an hour, but I wanted to go ahead and start this vlog so that we can catch up over my breaks. I am currently reading The Maidens by Alex Michaelides, and I'd really just like to finish this weekend. I haven't been reading that much lately just because in June I read 30 books and I was like kind of taking a break, kind of also reading Anna Karenina, and so I've just had a lot going on and haven't felt like reading that much, which is fine. Like, I've reached my Goodreads goal. I feel like I'm done, you know? So I'm on page 79 in this, so I've got less than, I've got about like 250 pages left of this. And if you don't know, Alex Michaelides is the author of The Silent Patient. I did not read The Silent Patient because I wasn't very interested in that story, but I have read more about this one, and I feel like this will be something that will be more interesting to me. So basically it is about a girl who dies on a college campus, and our main character is Mariana, and her niece, who's also kind of like her adoptive daughter, was best friends with the girl who was murdered. And so Mariana goes to the college campus to, you know, see her niece, and she kind of she's a psychologist, and so she knows they like hire a criminal, what do they call him? A forensic, I don't know. They hire this one, a forensic psychiatrist, or so I don't remember, but they are friends at some point, and so she kind of like gets pulled into the investigation just a little bit, even though the chief or whoever's just like, stay out of my investigation. So that's where I'm at so far. I know that it is about a kind of secret society that is on the college campus, and they're called the Maidens, and by this point we have been introduced to them, well, we've seen them. They just had a memorial service for this girl, and the Maidens come in, and they're like all dressed in white, and I'm interested to see where it goes. I am a little nervous just because I'm not really a thriller person, just because I don't find them to be that good. I'd really like to find this one really good because it just sounds so interesting. There's a mythology aspect to it, just because the main character has already mentioned some Hades and Persephone, which my favorite, but we'll see. So far, I'm a little nervous because I think there's going to be something wrong, I think there's going to be a twist that I'm not going to like to do with the main character's dead husband. And I really hope that doesn't happen. So anyway, welcome to the vlog. This is what we're reading. I'm going to hopefully find some reading sprints this weekend to just knock this out because I just want to be done with it. So welcome. Have a lovely Friday. Now lunchtime, and I am going to try to get some reading in, and yeah, that's my plan for right now. I did find some sprints later this evening that I'm going to try to participate in because I think I need it. So yeah, that's the plan. Let's get reading. To chat real quick. I'm now on part 2 of this book, and I have an issue with a lot of thrillers Putting that out there. I know a lot of people, if you watch my channel regularly, you probably already know that. I think I'm gonna do a video on my issues with thrillers, but I kind of want to talk about this book in how I know I will not like this at the end if certain things happen. So in the beginning of the book, we meet our main character, Mariana, and she talks about her husband who had passed away like 8 months ago, 13 months ago. It's fairly recent, like around a year. And she talks a lot about him. She talks about his connection with her niece and how they were really close, and she, like, her niece really saw him as a father figure and blah blah blah. So he's come up a lot. To me, that means he has something to do with the rest of the story. Okay, the one thing that I know will make me hate this book, we also get a couple, like two chapters so far of the killer's perspective. I think we're supposed to assume it's the killer. I don't know if it is. But anyway, if her husband, her dead husband, Sebastian, is not actually dead and has lost his memory and is the murderer, that will make me hate this book. Okay? So if that does not happen, this might be a high rating. If it does, if her husband is somehow involved in the murder, or if he's not actually dead, it's going to make me really hate this book. And I do feel like that is very common in domestic thrillers. So this is not a domestic thriller. Hoping that that doesn't happen, but we will see. That is not a guess per se that I think is going to happen, but I feel like it is a possibility. Like if you were to read the first 100 pages and you're like, okay, let me make a list of the people who could have possibly done this, Sebastian would be on that list because of the hints and the just the description that we've had of their relationship. Could be a red herring. I am not saying that is my guess at all. If I had to guess, I don't know, like the chapters, they're very brief. They're like 2 pages of the villain or the killer, if that's that actual perspective. If that is, and of course this is not a spoiler because I don't know. These are just my guesses. But to me, with those 2 chapters, if that is the killer is not Fosca, who is the professor who, if you read the flap, it says like, Mariana knows one thing for sure, that Fosca is a killer, blah blah blah. So if that is the killer's perspective, the killer is not Fosca. There's no way. So those are my two feelings right now. But of course, I don't know. We'll see what happens. So far, I feel pretty okay about this book. Not anything that's kind of like wowing me, except I really like, so far, the talk of literature in this book. I find that really interesting. And the mention of Tennyson and his famous poem In Memoriam A.H.H. Didn't know about that poem before, but of course, there's the famous line, "'Tis better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all," which comes from that poem. So that was cool that I learned something. So I like that part of it. We'll see. We'll see. Ooh. The workday is finally over. Today felt ridiculously long. We decided to have pizza for dinner, but then I noticed for Papa John's, their papadillas, you can customize them, and we're vegetarian, so all of them have meat in them, so knowing we can customize is great. But it's basically, it's just a pizza sandwich. Or pizza quesadilla, really, is what it is. But I am going to eat my dinner and probably watch Emily in Paris. I'm rewatching it. I know a lot of people give that show a lot of shit for good reasons, but I will say that I like it for a few reasons. One being that she's so happy. She smiles a lot. She wears funky clothes. And people criticize her like non-stop, but she doesn't let that stop her, and I love that. So it's also just super dramatic and fun. So, and also I only rewatch things. I never watch anything new. So I'm just rewatching it now. So I'm going to eat and watch Emily in Paris. We're going to go grocery shopping, and then I am going to read. Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. Happy weekend. I did not end up reading at all last night. Shame on me. I have been obsessed with, I went to Barnes & Noble last weekend and I got this book, this coloring book. It's Extreme Color by Number, and it's like legitimately extreme. I don't know if the camera will pick it up because it's really light. They're just like squares, but they're tiny. And so the one I'm currently working on is this butterfly, which I'm not a butterfly person. Like, butterflies are not my thing at all, but this one is so pretty. Look at the rainbow. Okay, enough of that. But I'm gonna read now. I'm going to the bookstore with my cousin in a little bit, so I'm gonna read before she comes and picks me up. Currently on page 95, so let's get some reading done. Hello everyone, I am back from the bookstore and I figured I would do a small little book haul. First we went to a used bookstore in my area and I got The Roundhouse by Louise Erdrich. I actually recently, like yesterday, heard about this book, and somebody said it was kind of like Crawdads, Where the Crawdads Sing, but better. So I'm actually really excited to read this. It is kind of there's like a crime. Written with undeniable urgency and illuminating the harsh realities of contemporary life in a community where Ojibwe and white live uneasily together. The Roundhouse is a brilliant and entertaining novel, a masterpiece of literary fiction. So I'm really excited to read this. I've never read one of her books, but I've heard about them a lot. Also, I really like this cover. And then we went to Goodwill, and I found Hench by Natalie Zena Walschatz. This is actually an ARC, which, you know, they can't legally sell those, but they don't know that, so I got it for 50 cents. But anyway, I've been really excited to read this. I know it's about this woman who she like works for a superhero or something, and then she gets into an accident caused by the superhero and she becomes disabled because of it. And so the story is about her becoming like the hench woman for a villain and like working for this villain because the hero like caused an accident where she ended up becoming disabled. So I think that's a very interesting story and I'm excited to read this. And I'm excited that I got it for 50 cents. And then also, if you're interested, when we went to Goodwill, I got a cute little bucket bag. And that is my little haul. Fantastic. Had a great time. I'm kind of at this point where I have so many books that I have too many books, which I know is that such a thing? But I feel like every time I buy a book, I feel like I need to get rid of a book. So I might do a book unhaul.
Yes, I think you can see that.
It's quite a bit later. I had a lot going on today, but I think the last time we chatted I was doing the live sprints that Mara from Books Like Whoa was hosting today. She's running a readathon right now for Nora Roberts, which I didn't realize. I've been like so behind on my YouTube that I didn't realize that was going on, and I didn't realize that's what the readathon or the reading sprints were for, even though it said that in the title, but I don't read those apparently. So I attended anyway because it was like reading sprints, you know, and I was able to hit page 140. I'm a little less than halfway through, and I'm gonna read some more right now, but I wanted to update you on a few things. First, I just watched Black Widow with my mom. We were debating on whether or not going to the movies and seeing it, but, you know, I read somewhere that the Pfizer vaccine is only 39% effective against the Delta variant, so time to go back inside. But anyway, and it's also cheaper, you know, so I just bought it from Disney Plus, which, whatever, it's fine. And we had some junk food and popcorn like we were at the movie theater, so fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I thought that the pacing of the movie was very good. I find a lot of the time where they're like with action movies where there are so many like fight scenes that they kind of get really repetitive, and eventually I kind of just like, can we just skip this one? But I did not feel that way with this movie. I just felt like they were very well paced and that they were different enough that I wasn't bored with them. So I thought it was very well done in that way. It was also very sad because of obvious reasons if you watch any of the Marvel movies. But I just really loved it. And I really love Florence Pugh. Everything that I've seen her in, she's fantastic. And I hope that she's going to be in more of the Marvel movies. With that end credit scene, it kind of feels that way. But anyway, as for the Maidens, I am a few things about it. There are things that I'm really liking about it. There are a lot of references to like literature and Greek mythology, and I find that very interesting and how it relates to the actual story. I feel like Alex Michaelides, I don't know anything about like his life or whatever. Maybe he went to Cambridge, who knows, but like just the research that he had to have done for this book, so far liking that. Some things that I don't love, there was one particular statement that was made, and I'm just like, obviously book written by a man, you can tell just by this statement here. Unlike Veronica, Serena wore no makeup, not that she needed to. No woman needs to wear makeup, okay? So I didn't think that statement was necessary. I'm gonna go ahead and get some more reading done now. So yeah. It is the next day. Welcome to the end of the vlog. This is the second time I'm filming this clip because I was a little upset last time and I thought I would calm down, compose myself. So frankly, I did not like this book. I'm giving this book 1 star. This book was not for me. And it's very evident to me why this book was not for me and why I love the books that I do love as compared to this. This book just had a very unsatisfying ending. I don't want to spoil it, but I will say, like, yes, in a traditional, as in the traditional mystery, you do like learn who done it. But while you may find that satisfying as to figure out who was the murderer, there was nothing hopeful or happy or that came at the end of this book. Like with the mysteries that I do enjoy, like thinking about Agatha Christie, where Hercule Poirot, he solves the murder and like he helps a family out in the meantime with you know, bringing the killer to justice. There wasn't really any of that in this book, and that's, I think, a way that it could have been fixed. Like the epilogue that he wrote for this book, I thought was so just, it was not necessary in any way. Like it did not bring anything to the story itself. So I'm giving this book 1 star because I found it very unsatisfying, and I just felt it was just dark and bleak and that way the entire time. And it's just not something that I enjoy reading, something that has no hope, that has no ounce of happiness in it. Like this book's ending is sad and depressing and disgusting, and that's all you get from it. And I don't enjoy reading about stuff that happens, like dark, crappy stuff that happens in real life, because I could just watch the news if I really wanted to hear about that kind of stuff. And so I didn't enjoy that in this book. And even though like I really did enjoy like the literature aspect and like the Greek, the ancient Greek information, like I thought that was very well done. I thought it was very well researched. I thought it was very interesting. It just, when I got to the end, it was pointless because this book did nothing. It uncovered a murderer, but for what purpose? I mean, obviously, like, so that person wouldn't murder anyone anymore, but like, if that was the only reason that I would read books, then I would read nonfiction. Like, I don't want to read a fiction novel to just figure out who the murderer is, and that is it. So, this book was very unsatisfying, very unfulfilled. Felt like there could be more to it, honestly. He could have added more humanity to this book, and he didn't, and that is why I'm giving it 1 star, and why I'm not going to read any of his other books. So, very disappointed. Like I said, there were some things that I liked about it, it wasn't enough to redeem it. So, 1 star. There it is. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this journey of reading this book with me. If you've read it yourself, I would love to know what you think. If you've read it and you know the ending, do you disagree with me? Do you feel like it was unsatisfying like I did? What are your thoughts? Let's discuss in a nice, friendly way. So yeah, thanks for watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in a new one soon. Bye!